video. In this video I will be discussing with you guys latest Java developer interview questions. Okay, so I have already covered couple of videos on this topic. If you want, you can watch all the videos. I'll add the playlist link in the description. Okay, so now any further delay, let's get started. Okay, so this is the first question for this video. So although it is showing 27, because I have already covered first 26 question in my previous videos. Okay, so now question is difference between put and patch. Okay, so this question is related to REST APIs, means the HTTP methods. Okay, so in HTTP method we have like post, get, put, patch, delete, headers, options. Okay, so between the two methods like put and patch, they have some significant differences, although they are doing the same job. Means that two methods, means put and patch, both we are using for updating any resources. Okay, but still they have some significant differences. Okay, so what are the differences? Okay, I am reminding, like we have that two methods, put and patch, both we are using for updating the resources, but still they have some differences. That is the question. Okay, so what are the differences? Like first, put. Okay, replace an entire resources with a new representation. This means that all the fields of the resources are sent in the request body. This is very important point. Okay, while you want to update in a resource, you have to give all the fields is required to create that particular resource. We have to give the same attribute or like same fields in your request body also when you are doing put. Okay, even if they are not modified. Okay, so suppose there is a employee table or like employee entity we have. In employee entity we are changing the designation, like he or she got promoted to software engineer to senior software engineer, but it doesn't mean that her or his name got changed, right? Name is same, but the designation got changed. So in case of put, you have to give all the resources fields, all the fields you have to give, like name, designation, address, all the things you have to give. Okay, to modify that resources. Okay, so I think it is understandable, and it is idempotent. What do you mean by idempotent? Idempotent means, also I have mentioned that the same thing here also, like idempotency is something like the same request we are making multiple times has the same effect as making it once. Means first time whatever you are making, the change whatever is doing or whatever you are getting, the same you will get in your nth request as well. Okay, it means that it won't change the resources state when you are doing the same operation multiple times. Okay, so want to completely replace our resources. Okay, in that case you can go with put. Okay, I think it is clear, because suppose the girl or like the particular boy got promoted and also he or she has a request like my name is not correct, I want to change my name also. Okay, like there is a middle name and we just skipped a middle name when they he or she was joining, we just skipped a middle name. So now they are like wanting, like we want to add our middle name also in our database. So in that case you have to change all the fields, right? Then in that case you can go with put. Okay, I think it is clear. So next we have patch. Applies the partial updates to a resources. Okay, partial updates. It is very important word that you have to remember in case of patch. This means that only the fields that need to be changed are sent in the request body. Means that particular employee got promoted, only you have to give the designation field in your request body, nothing else you have to keep. The rest of the resources remain unchanged. Okay, and it is not idempotent. It means that it may possible whatever you getting in your first response, the same response you may not get in your nth request. Okay, so it can affect the resources state. I think it is clear. So only need to do the small updates. Okay, to put needs high bandwidth. Why so? Because you have to keep all the field in your request body, okay? But in case of batch, only the data needs to be modified, it's sent in the request body. As a payload, it has low bandwidth, okay? Because only the required data you have to pass in the request payload. That's why we require low bandwidth, okay? I think it is clear. So now moving on to our next question. So this is our second question. Why string is immutable? Immutable objects are the objects whose state cannot be modified after they are created. Okay, yeah, string is immutable. We know that, but why string is immutable? That is the question. So Java string class is immutable by design only. Okay, because we are considering some key points like security reasons. It can be like string pool optimization. Also we have the thread safety, class loading, and API design consistency, and also like we have so many other options also we have. But yeah, if you can remember these 3-4 points, that is enough. So what about security? Like strings are used for sensitive data like file path, URL, okay, database connections. If mutable, the malicious actor could alter a string after a security check, leading to vulnerabilities, okay. And also like we have string pool optimization. If possible, try to remember this point. Actually this point is very important. So Java uses a string pool to store URLs, okay, like hello. Immutability allows multiple references to share the same string object, okay, same string object in memory, reducing overhead. For example, we can take this example like first one we have string s1 equals to hello added to the pool, okay, because first time we are creating. Second time we have string s2 equals to hello, use the same pools hello, okay. So now we can just compare these two. Okay, point to be remembered, this is comparing the string addresses, not the string contents, okay. We have hello and hello. If you want to compare these both two strings content, then you have to call it equals method, like equals ignore case method, okay. But when you are doing equal, basically it is comparing the addresses, okay, and you will find that it will give you true because the same memory address, because they are denoting the same string object, okay. It's a string where mutable, changing h1 would corrupt all the references to the pulled value, okay. Thread safety is also one thing, okay. So immutable objects are inherently thread safe. Multiple threads can safely read and share the string object without synchronization. Why? Because there is no point of modification, right? We are only reading, like sharing the resources. So let moving on to our next point, like class loading. Class names, JVM metadata rely on string immutability. If class names could change after loading, it would break the JVM's integrity, okay. The last one is API design consistency. Method receiving string parameter do not risk unintended side effects as the callee cannot modify the original string, okay. So I think it is clear. So now moving on to our third question. So difference between abstract class and interface. Although these two things we use for implementing the abstraction, but they have some significant difference. Like suppose in interface we can have only abstract methods, okay. We cannot have that implemented method, means normal method or like concrete methods we cannot have in case of interface. But in case of abstract class we can have concrete methods also, okay. But in details you can see here, like first one is instantiation. We cannot instantiate any abstract class or like interface, okay. So it is like quite okay. Method, we can have abstract and concrete methods, okay, that I have mentioned earlier. Until Java 7 only abstract method. Now we have the default and static method also, okay. default or static method is also allowed after Java 8 version. So it will give you error if you are using like Java version 7 or 6 or whatever. In that case it will give you error. If you are using Java 8 version or like above, in that case you won't get any error. Means you can use default and static methods. Okay, moving on to our next point is variables. Can have any type of variables like final, non-final, static, etc. But if you can remember, in case of indefinite variable, variables are public, static, final by means constants by default. Okay, so static and final. Final means we cannot change it, and static means it is like you can access as a class level. You need not to create any object to access its particular variable. Okay, and that will be constant. Okay, means you cannot change the value. Okay, so static and final you have to remember, but in case of abstract you can have any kind of variable like final, non-final, static, anything you can have. Okay, so then we have constructor. Can have constructor, but interface cannot have any constructor. We know that. Okay, inheritance, suppose single inheritance extend one class, suppose multiple inheritance implement multiple interfaces. Okay, so if you know about a diamond problem can be handled by interfaces. Okay, so it means that one particular class can inherit multiple interfaces. Okay, that is what it is mentioned, implement multiple interfaces. Means the diamond problem we can overcome with the interfaces. Okay, because in Java we cannot, like if we are implementing any particular abstract class B and we are implementing in our another normal class like class A, you can extend class B only. You cannot do like you suppose you have another abstract class C, so you cannot do like class A extends B and C. That is not possible. That is called diamond problem. To overcome this, we can have interface. Okay, you can implement multiple interfaces like B and C. Now the interfaces, now there won't be any problem. Okay, now it will not complain. You can simply implement as many interfaces as you want. Okay, I think it is also clear. Purpose: provides partial implementation, shared code, defines a concrete what a class must do. Okay, so I think it is also clear. So now moving on to our next question. Can main method be overloaded? This is very quite common question, and answer is yes, we can overload, but still JVM will start the execution from this main method only. Okay, because it is basically finding out this particular signature. Okay, but yeah, we can overload our main method also. Okay, same thing, you can just change the argument we are changing, and now we can overload it. So we have array of string, now we are overloading it with int of x, like string of message, like string the variable, so we can overload it. Okay, but the point is that JVM will find out this particular signature only to start the execution. So basically it won't affect anything. Okay, so you can simply say okay, yes, we can overload the main method. Okay, but JVM won't complain anything. Also clear. So now this is the question, okay, that I won't explain. You can answer me in the comment section. Okay, because I know it is a little theoretical question, but I can give you some hint. Like if you want to implement multi-threading in Java, we have learnable interface, and also we have one thing also we have, that is thread class. And again, learnable interface is the most efficient way to doing the multi-threading in Java. Why so? The same concept I have discussed here, because this support multiple inheritance. Because if you are suppose if you are taking thread class, okay, and you are extending, now again you need another class you have to extend. Okay, there is no any other option. But if you are implementing that same thing in interface, you can implement runnable. Now you can extend that particular class also. Okay, then there is no problem. I think you are understanding, right? So yeah, we have runnable interface and we have thread class. Okay, For more details, you will find lots of documentation. There is no need to worry. Okay, you can just search on the internet and you will find out the answer. So I am not describing this question. Okay, so yeah, that's all pretty much from this video. I hope this video was helpful for you, and if you have any doubts, any questions, please let me know in the comment section. I will happy to answer. And if you like my videos, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. So thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye bye.